So this one's how to get through or get over an existential crisis with some ease. So I guess I'm making this video because this is something that happens regularly to me. And so, I don't know what the textbook definition of an existential crisis is, but for me, it's kind of when I reach a point where essentially nothing makes sense anymore, and I just start to kind of question everything to do with what I'm doing and why I'm here and the things that I've chosen to involve myself in, to give my time and efforts and energy to. And right now I'm working on this van, and I just accomplished a big task, and that was like a big thing. And then I made a list of everything else that I needed to do, and it was just a huge list. And just it's starting to get, it's fall here now, and it's like, kind of like it's almost like the reality is sinking in. It's like, wow, am I even going to be able to get this thing done? Are my finances in order? And so I'm really questioning my existence, looking into everything that I'm doing and the way that I'm doing it, and seeing if there is a more appropriate course of action. And it's a bit of a challenging time when you are unsure of how to move forward, to just continue with things, or I don't know, it's like a time of reflection. And I think it can be really misunderstood. You could think like there's something wrong going on, and I know that it's just like depression. It's like, as I understand it, it's when you don't find the answers outside, you go within. You take a moment where you slow down and ponder life, to its core, right to, like, what am I doing here? What's important to me? What is going on? How did all of this happen? How did I end up in this place doing this? And it's like, yeah, and I think that it's a healthy thing too. It's not like there's something wrong going on. It's important to have those kinds of thoughts sometimes. It's a very healthy thing to check in with yourself, to check in with what you're involved with, your attitudes and behaviors, just to, even if afterwards you just continue on with doing things as you were, at least you took time to sit with it and make sure that you weren't rushing ahead too quickly or getting yourself, I don't know, kind of like involved or biting off more than you can chew, getting caught up or carried away with ideas or, bees, things that you're doing, right? And so, yeah, I think like one of the important things is to know that it does pass. And the idea is certainly not to cover it up. That's, the dark side of things. You can think that, okay, well, I don't like this feeling of uneasiness, because there is an uneasy, there's an uncertainty, there's, a very, for me, a low level angst or anxiety. There's just, I feel out of place, and it's like, and I guess that's okay, right? But it's challenging, and I think part of it is to maintain through that. Don't give in to any kind of choices which are, we call them bad habits, things that will take you out of the moment, which won't allow you to appreciate the feelings that are come up to their fullest extent. And that's, of course, things like drugs, alcohol, weed, food, sex, even like just distracting yourself, movies or TV or Netflix or whatever your deal is, because it's like I feel like it's an important time it's like a transition, and like sort of, and so it's important to honor that, and to like treat it like it's a gift. It's an opportunity to take a little step back and re-examine priorities and make sure that you're doing everything that you're doing for the right reason, and that it makes sense. And yeah, I mean, I can count, but the saying is I can't even count how many times I've had existential crises. I mean, certainly in the last number of years since I sold my house, and like just my cookie has crumbled so many times that it's been, I guess I've learned to roll with it, because I know that change is very powerful. It's important. I choose like an accelerated path. I want to learn. I want to grow. I want to step into bigger shoes and stuff like that. And that's why it's like sometimes, yeah, going through life, it's, I used to have an existential crisis like sometimes I've had one like every few months. I used to have it once a year, then, different stages of life, but sometimes it's like every 3 months. And yeah, I don't know, it's just a lot, right? I mean, to be, having to sit there with your emotions, with your feelings and thoughts and all the stuff that comes up when you're just a little uncertain about what your path is. And hence the word existence. It's like it's not that there's anything wrong per se, like necessarily, but it's like just my existence, just the fact that I'm here and I'm alive, and I'm not entirely sure what to do with myself. And I don't want to compare myself to what anybody else is doing, because it has no relevance to me and what I'm doing, like my friends and their kids and their houses and their families and all this kind of stuff. And it's like, it doesn't help at all to compare yourself to what anybody else is doing, or what they're, different places. Even like this whole YouTube thing, it's like I try not to watch other people's videos, because it just gets in my head, and it's like, it's not helping. It's like I need to I don't know what I need. And that's kind of this whole thing is just to go, I know that it'll pass, in like a couple of days or whatever, or maybe even by the end of the day, who knows. It might be something simple, just as far as having finished a big project and then needing to tackle something else, and then not really knowing, I don't know where my feet are, I don't know where I stand, I don't know where I'm going, I don't know if what I'm doing is going to work out in the way that I think it's going to. I don't know the viability of it all, and so therefore it's difficult to move forward on things, because it's like, am I going to have the money to even go traveling, even if I fix this van? And it's like, it's so expensive to fix up vehicles. It's like everything costs $1,000 or more, or like, and takes days and days. Ow, a bit. But yeah, I don't know. I mean, we all have our issues. I think it's important to recognize that too, just how, like, you could tell somebody that you're having some of these thoughts and feelings and stuff like that, and they might be like, oh, well, you at least you got this, and at least you got that. And it's like, I find that kind of talk doesn't really help. I mean, because we all have, our problems are relative, no matter who you are. Rich people have problems, poor people have problems, white people have problems, brown people have problems, skinny people, people, like, it's not about that. Children, adults, different stages of life. should I have kids? Am I ever going to? Am I too old? I don't know, right? All the questions that come up. And I wouldn't say that I, even in this process, it's not like I feel like I'll actually come to any conclusions or find any answers. It's just a time of reflection and looking at it all and being okay with it, I guess, and then moving forward from it. And that might include some time alone. It might include time, like I feel like I'm on the verge of tears, but it's like I'm not sad because there's nothing wrong. But there's just something in me that's just a little bit upset. And so, yeah. And that's why I like this YouTube thing, because at least I can just kind of vent for what it's worth, or you could call it sharing, or I can make this, and I guess I've just gone through this so many times, it really makes sense to but I just to finish this, it's like I can get through this. If I can get through it, you can get through it.